In a mock documentary format, the film shows testimonials from people during several scenes. The story begins with Andrew, a 37-year-old man and one of the rare men left in the world who works as a servant for a family composed only of women. Andrew appears tending to the garden, planting new seeds and watering those that are already sprouting. Tara, Andrew's employer, says that he has been in her house for 3 years and states that he is very important because he does his job well. Tara reveals to the camera that many people she knows can't find men for the job and that hiring women was much more expensive. Her only concern is that the girls might want something they can't have, a man at his best. An old priest is in the church, telling his story. He says that when he was a novice priest in 1953, he was sent to the Vatican, where he was part of a group that investigated supernatural cases. That year, there were 67 cases of women who became pregnant without having sexual relations. At the time, there was no way to prove the claims, as DNA tests didn't exist yet. A lady named Zinnia appears on screen and relates her experience. She says she became pregnant in 1953, which was a surprise to her husband, as they hadn't touched each other for a year. Hey, the film I'm going to summarize is called No Men Beyond This Point. It's a film that mixes drama, science fiction, and comedy. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to receive the best recaps. She swore she was innocent, but no one believed her. As the years passed, more and more women revealed similar situations, showing that something strange was happening. One of the girls who lives in the same house as Andrew, Dahlia, praises him, saying he would make a great father and that she likes his way of being. Andrew says he has worked in 2 other houses before this one and tells the camera that it's challenging work because there are many people, especially children. He talks about Iris, one of the older ladies of the house, and says she is an admirable person, but also has her fears. He comments that Iris was very strict with the rules, so he tried not to draw too much attention when she was around. One morning, the family and Andrew go to watch the girls' soccer game. While doing his work, he meets 2 older men who are also domestic workers. They chat and have fun, but one of the girls reprimands them, saying they can't be together, and forces them to separate and go in different directions. The scene changes. In an isolated monastery in Spain, a documentarian follows the story of Isabella, a nun who becomes pregnant without explanation. The church tries to cover up the case and sends a team to erase her records and deny her existence. But the other nuns in the monastery don't stay silent and reveal the miraculous pregnancy. Soon, other women around the world also become pregnant without apparent reason and begin to rebel. The documentarian Angela shows how those in power have always resisted losing it throughout history. At the same time, in the background, an emotional drama unfolds as brave women occupy the streets. They face repression with intimidation methods, such as tear gas. A man tells the camera that when the protest began, none of this was planned. His mother wasn't even aware of it. But one night, she decided she couldn't take it anymore. One night, while he, his brother, and his father were at the dinner table, his mother appeared with her coat and told them she was going out, warning that she didn't know when she'd return and that they should figure out dinner for themselves. The camera returns to Xenia, who had her daughter and was taking care of her alone. One night, while she's having fun with her daughter in their new house, her husband appears at the door and begs for forgiveness. Suddenly, she realizes she doesn't need him in her life anymore and dismisses him. In the residence where Andrew is employed, Tara comments on Iris's artwork and how she is enchanted by all of them. However, she is uncomfortable with Iris obsessively portraying Andrew, watching him and photographing him at all times. Iris thinks people aren't realizing the problem that the extinction of men can bring to everyone, and that's why she made it an important theme in her work. However, the paintings she made of Andrew had no buyers, as most women didn't want a painting of a man on their walls. By 1957, 3 out of 4 children born were the result of pregnancies without a father, causing the number of children born from normal pregnancies to drop dramatically. What scared men the most, however, was that each mother gave birth to a girl. Over time, sperm became unable to penetrate the outer layer of the egg, causing them to be completely discarded. Born in a year when only girls came into the world, Andrew, now 37, says he drew a lot of attention at school. He only realized how different his life would be from the other female students when he finished high school. It was then that Andrew understood he wouldn't have the same rights as other girls until 1967. That year, a woman became president of the United States, and a gender revolution was underway, as women were 64% of the population. Gradually, women began occupying the most important positions, until some men decided to isolate themselves in remote places to escape from women. The men realized that women didn't need them and wanted to return, but it was too late. Women were in control. Some resistant groups didn't conform to the New World Order until 1975, when women already dominated the world and had shorter menstrual cycles, which made them more violent and impatient. Men who rebelled were sent to refuges by the Women's Governing Council, where they had everything they needed to live well. Women didn't care about the scarcity of men and invested billions of dollars to cure diseases like cancer, but neglected the genetic problem under female command. They managed to establish world peace, eliminating spending on armed forces, including NASA's in current times. As the last man born on the planet, Andrew carries a burden of guilt as he feels the looks of other men who came before him, as if he had prevented the continuity of their lineage. In his youth, he blamed himself for this, but this feeling dissipated over the years. In a conversation with Dakota, a doctor-writer, she reveals that contrary to what the government wanted people to believe, women still desired sexual contact. The leaders of the Governing Council were conservatives out of touch with reality, who harbored an irrational fear that men would return to power. Dakota exposes how this paranoia had infiltrated the foundations of the government's social policy. Iris and Tara were one of the couples who joined together to raise their children. Tara says that they started dating in their junior year of high school, when she had her first daughter, Dahlia. Iris tells the camera that their love is an example that women can connect with someone without having sex, because it's unfeasible to force someone to have that feeling. Iris speaks honestly about her relationship with Tara being based on mutual support, and admits her persistent attraction to men, especially Andrew. Tara's heart breaks, causing her to ask for a quick break in the interview. The camera follows Iris as she goes to talk to Andrew, who tries to calm her fears, holding her face in his hands. He tells her everything will be all right and kisses her, not noticing that the whole family is watching them. After seeing the shocking scene, Iris runs inside with the children so they don't see any more of what happened. The women in leadership know that there are still some who feel something for men and want to prevent them from disappearing completely. However, they are as rare as the remaining men and gradually diminish each day. When the sanctuaries were created, men would venture out in search of women, unable to control themselves. The Border Patrol had to surround the men and sometimes apply sedatives to contain them. Over time, men became increasingly apathetic, and it was rare for them to escape from the sanctuaries. Darius, a fervent opponent of the women's regime, claimed that hormones that reduced men's libido were put in the sanctuary food. In protest, Darius decided that everyone would go on a hunger strike, but this lasted little more than a day. After being caught kissing Iris by relatives and Tara, Andrew is dismissed and sent away from work. 3 weeks after the incident, Andrew's work visa was cancelled and he was transferred to a nearby sanctuary. Andrew doesn't hate where he is, but his mind is restless, as he can't stop thinking about Iris and the children he helped raise in the house. On the surface, everything returned to normal, but Tara was still shaken by what happened. Tara felt hurt by Iris, but even trying to move on with her life, Iris couldn't forget Andrew. One night, while Andrew was with the other men watching an old man perform, he realized he didn't want his entire species to be extinct in the blink of an eye. After sending a message to Iris, Andrew escapes from the sanctuary in the middle of the night and crosses the woods until he reaches the main road, where he finds Iris setting out on a transformative journey. Iris and Andrew join in the journey, their minds full of reflections about the future that awaits them. Driven by their unconditional love and shared dreams, they reach a decisive point of clarity. With courage and determination, they decide to hold a press conference, wanting to talk about their relationship and its relevance to the community. With many reporters and interested parties present, Andrew holds the microphone, his voice firm and confident. He emotionally announces their desire to unite in marriage and form a family, emphasizing the deep love and dedication they nurture with unbreakable firmness. They request the governing council to recognize and support their dreams, asking for respect and integration in their journey towards happiness. Their honest plea touches the public, generating a feeling of sympathy and understanding. The intense love between Iris and Andrew provokes a powerful awakening in people, motivating a wave of women to rise and fight for gender diversity. Their love story becomes an icon of hope and progress. After overcoming social difficulties, Iris and Andrew gain the right to marry. Sometime later, they share happy news. Iris was pregnant with a child, a historic event, as it was the first birth of a different sex in years. The pregnancy, however, had a surprising detail thanks to advances in modern science. The fertilization process was carefully altered, making the egg accept the sperm as if it had only X chromosomes. This extraordinary feat aroused even more interest and curiosity, putting Iris and Andrew in the spotlight like never before. At the end of the film, Iris, with her belly full of life, is beside Andrew, talking honestly. However, the mood suddenly changes when Andrew makes a joke about not wanting Iris to be expecting a girl. An awkward silence settles between them, suggesting there's more at stake in their relationship than it appears. So that's it, until the next recap.